No, you're welcome. It was a pleasure to serve them. And I mean, just you putting that out there, there's so many people I know, Jessica, you and I can help. You've been on a portfolio. So
Yeah.
ready, just let me know. I'm ready to launch into that.
All right, so we're going to touch on some things later on. We have a big focus point today that we really want to touch on, but Jacqueline definitely has down payment grants, investor type mortgages that are very, very affordable, refinances, all the things that are important to you, but the extra level of service that she provides really makes my clients feel comfortable. But the one we want to talk about today, which I'm really excited about, are these rehab loans, right? So when we think about sellers, for example, I want to touch on them first because I know that it benefits buyers in a big way, but I also want to touch on how it benefits the sellers to know about these rehab loans.
Yes. So the sellers, a lot of people, especially in the Louisiana community, well, everywhere, but I like to focus on the Louisiana community. They live in homes, or they've been, they've got homes from family members. There's a lot of homes that need work, and they just don't know. They don't have the funds to remodel the homes to get them to where they need to be. So they can't sell them. But when you have a lender that understands that we're going to try to get the buyers. We're going to get the buyers pre-approved for a rehab loan. It's a dual pre-approval. So for a remodel or a turnkey home. So what that does for the sellers is, instead of thinking they have to pump so much money into their property to get it ready to sell, they can sell it as a retail buyer. The difference between a retail buyer and a corporate investors are looking to make a profit. So they're going to come into these they're going to, offer these sellers, very bottom basement, offers for their property. Whereas retail buyers, we can sell it as is per the market, and we can get financing for it. So, because the retail buyer is not really looking to make a profit, they're looking to live in the home. They buy a home in the location they're looking for with the specs they need. And turn it into their own property with their own specifics to the house. So in other words, you go into a seller's, for the seller, maybe, it can be the worst case scenario where the carpet is destroyed. There's holes in the wall, there's gold faucets and sinks and the counters. I mean, it's just not a livable house.
Yeah.
That home as is for market price to a buyer that is a pre-approved for rehab lending. So it's one loan, it's one closing inside days. So you're not talking about, a 3-month process to close on this transaction.
Yeah.
We get buyers pre-approved for the home to buy it as is. So appraisals aren't a factor. That's what a lot of, I have to buy a home that's ready. It's turnkey because it's not past appraisal. That is not a factor. And you can still use the FHA loan program to purchase.
Yeah. So in other words, the seller gets their money faster. They don't have to wait as long for the typical rehab loan process. Yeah.
Put any money in that house.
Yeah.
Open the door to you and sell it as is, because we have the ability on the back end to show the buyers the potential of the property, that they can make it their own. They can put bought countertops if they have the funds to do it.
And one thing that I'm renovation certified, so I also have the ability to go in and take a photo of a house as is, and then sit down with buyers, which is what I promote to the buyers, is saying, hey, let's look at different style choices with this particular room. And in on site on my computer, I can show them the before and after. And so when we market it for you guys that are going to be selling these distressed properties, we're going to promote it that way. There's going to be videos available showing the before and after of your existing property. So people can say, oh, I can see it visually. Because really people when they buy property, they buy with their eyes. And so that's how I market for these types of sellers, is to say, hey, Jacqueline's going to have the mortgage ready to go for them. I'm going to have the visuals. And when we promote it, it's going to look like everything is all together, right? Which it is. It's going to be everything all together, right? For the buyer. They get a more affordable home because, like you and I know, going back to those investors, Like if those major corporations buy that house, number one, like you said, they're going to lowball the seller. So the seller's not going to make market value, right? And then they're going to do the minimum to make it cute. And I call it the lipstick on a pig thing. You've probably heard that before.
Yeah.
And then they're going to sell it to the buyer for like this astronomical price. Yeah. So really, to be honest, this really is like helping on both sides. Sellers getting a better profit. Yeah. Buyer is getting their dream home for less money.
Yep. Sellers,
absolutely,
and the buyers are walking in with equity.
Yeah, I think we accidentally answered both the questions about how it benefits the sellers and the buyers. Is there something additional that benefits the buyers besides getting their dream home according to their terms?